Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Hello everyone and welcome to your English class. In our lesson today, we start with an introduction to this English course. At the beginning, congratulations for passing the previous two courses. And we will start with this third English course in this year. Okay. As we have known, what you have taken in the previous course, which is the second English course, it was four units. The first one was titled, Did You Hurt Yourself? Number 2 was about, Take My Advice. 3 was about, You've Got Mail. And the last one was about wishful thinking. We're going to go through these units and the important things that we've taken so far. At the beginning, we've talking about accidents and accident preventions. You can name each one of them and how to avoid. The idea of avoiding is to prevent, to stop this thing from happening to you. Not after, but now, before they happen to you. Some of the accidents are a swollen ankle. You could swell your ankle. In here, look at his knee or his ankle in here. You can swell your ankle or your knee. How about her? Look at her. She cut her finger. A cut. You could cut your finger with a knife or scissors. How about him in here? He broke his nose. How could you break your nose? You could break it while you are playing football or hitting the wall. Then we're having poking an eye. If, let's say, a pen or a straw get into your eye, this is poking an eye. Then breaking, fracturing a bone, whether your hand or your arm, it could be a leg. And by the end, which is burning yourself. You could burn a hand, you could burn a finger, or when you are encounter or in touch with, let's say, a hot liquid or a hot surface. How can you avoid any one of these? How can you avoid these accidents from happening to you or your loved ones? We can tell that you can avoid by taking all the precautions. Always keeps children away from the reach of hot liquids, hot surfaces, away from the kitchen or the bathroom, and be a careful person. Okay, we've also spoken about the idea of using of a reflexive pronoun. A reflexive pronoun is a pronoun that we will use when we're having the subject is the object. You did someone to whom? To you. So I did that to myself. The subject is the object. I'm not going to repeat the same pronoun here as a subject and an object as if you're looking into yourself in the mirror. Let's look into here and come up with a sentence using a reflexive pronoun. Here we're having a mom and her child, and they're using an umbrella. To do what? To protect whom? To protect themselves. So they protect themselves with the umbrella. They is the subject protecting someone else, which is themselves. I protect myself and they protect themselves. No one is helping them. The second one, here we're having a puppy or a dog, and we're having here a broken leg. So we can say that it hurt whom? Itself. It hurt itself. No one did it to it. It did it for itself. Then we've spoken about the idea of because and so. Because and so is about the effect, and we're having the result. Why did you do that? Because of that reason. A reason and a cause. We can use them both, like here, this sentence. I went to bed early yesterday. Why? Because I was tired. Which one happened first? Being tired or going to bed early? At the beginning you will feel, then as a result you will go to bed. So number 1, I was tired, then I went to bed early. So we're having because is going to connect the result with the effect. We can change the order using so. I was tired, so I went to bed early. So at the beginning I was tired, then I went to bed early. So the order would go this way. So 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, the result and the effect. Let's try to use them in here, the use of because and so. I didn't want to wake up late. What did I do? I used 2 alarm clocks. So I used 2. Number 2, Jerry called the emergency number. Why? There was an emergency. At the beginning, there was an emergency. As a result, she or he called the emergency number. Number 3, I put my hand under cold running water. Why? Because I burned my hand. I burned my hand, then I put it under cold running water. More people turned up than I expected. What did I do? I cooked more food. So, more people turned up, more people in the house. As a result, I cooked more food. The mosquitoes didn't bite me. How? I had put on this repellent because. So I had put it the night before. I woke up, no mosquito had bitten me. So check the result, and we're having the effect, and the order will tell you whether to use so or because. Here, using modal auxiliaries, whether must or should. We're saying must is like more stronger than should. Must is like for the laws and the rules. Should, it's an idea of giving advice, much more like optional. Let's look at this picture, and we will give him some advice using should or must. We will say, he should wear his seat belt. Notice he's not wearing his seat belt in here. He should wear his seat belt. Also, he mustn't use his cell phone. He's using his cell phone. It is against the law. You mustn't use it. Also, he should watch the road. Look at him. He's not paying attention to the road. He should watch the road or pay more attention to the road. Okay, next. Discuss common problems. What are some of the common problems that people at your age usually struggle, suffer from, go through? We're having the problem getting along with friends. I don't have friends. Whenever I go to school, I am alone. No one talks to me. Another problem is healthy eating. I always crave junk food. I like it. And I know that it's let's say fruits and vegetables are healthy, but I don't like them. Then we've spoken about keeping fit, how to be strong, healthy. Strong and healthy is not about how much you weigh, whether more or less, how strong, how healthy you are. Okay. How about asking for and giving advice? Let's look into this problem. Here we're having someone is having a problem. What looks to be like the problem? It looks like he's having a weight problem. He's overweight. He gained weight and he wants to lose weight. He would ask us for some advice. So we will tell that, what should I do to lose weight? What can I do? What should I do? If you want someone to tell you about his or her opinion or to give you advice, what should I do? Can you help me? What advice can we give this man? He is overweight and he wants to lose weight. I will tell him, you ought to exercise. It's stronger than should. Ought to. It's a very good idea. You ought to. Also, we can say that you shouldn't eat a lot of junk food. Should not. Avoid. Stay away from it. And we can tell him that you shouldn't avoid food. And this is one thing that is important. Avoid unhealthy food, however, never avoid food. Avoiding food is not going to be good for you. So I have used here ought to as well as should in the negative form, which is shouldn't. How about in here? Let's check the problem, and we will give advice using ought to, whether positive or negative. Here, the problem is, it's too cold in here. The weather or the temperature is declining. What will we say in here? You ought to wear a warm jacket. Ought to. Because here you are asked to use ought to. You ought to wear. Notice the verb. It is the base form of the verb. How about the negative of ought to? We can say you ought not to go out. Just stay at home. It's very cold. Notice here we can use the not in the middle. You ought not to do. You ought not to do. Okay, the following. Let's use should. But let's check what is the problem. Someone who didn't study well yesterday and he got a low mark. He got an F. Let's use should. What should he do or shouldn't do? We will give him advice. I will say, you should study harder. Should, after the modal auxiliary, I will use the base form of the verb. How about shouldn't? I will tell him that you shouldn't waste your time. Should not. Shouldn't waste your time. You shouldn't give up. You should try harder. How about had better? And we've said that had better is the strongest way to give advice or to tell people what to do. A kind of a threat. If you don't follow instructions, you had better follow instructions. Otherwise, I will tell the teacher, or your mom, I will tell your mom. Here, Abdullah is really upset. He failed his driving test. He was trying so hard, however, he failed. Let's use had better for him. A strong advice we will give Abdullah because he is upset. I will tell him that Abdullah had better take the test again. You had better try one more time. You will pass next time. And also, you had better not give up. You had better not. Notice the negative. We will use the not followed had better, then we will use not. Unlike ought to. How about I keep putting on weight. I am really worried about it. Every month, or let's say every week, I am gaining weight. What should I do? Can you use had better? I will use here. You had better take up a sport. Had better start a new sport. And also, you had better not eat junk food. Here we will use, let's say, junk food. Eating the junk food or too much, consume too much calories. Okay, so these they are. Let's go ahead. How about the use of the 2 and the 3 word verbs? What are the 2 and 3 word verbs? They are actually a verb that will be attached with a particle. What is a particle? You're having 2 options. Whether a preposition, in, on, at, about, or an adverb. Like we're having over, through. These are adverbs. We will call them, these 2, we will call them the particles. So we will have a verb plus 1 or 2 particles to be 3 word verbs. And the meaning of put is different than put off. So we will have a totally different meaning. So you have to go back, check the verbs and their meanings. Let's use put off, take up, turn down to complete these sentences. We had to the meeting because many people were sick. What are we doing? We're not canceling it. We will do it later. Many people are sick and they are not showing up. So let's do it next week when everyone is feeling well. I will say here, let's put it off. Let's put the meeting off. Not today, we will do it later. Next, listen to my offer before you. I promise it's a good one. Before you, say no, refuse, decline it. So in here I will say, listen to my offer before you, turn it down. Notice the use of the at here. You can add the pronoun in the middle. You can separate it and add the pronoun somewhere in the middle. Before you put it down, put the offer down. Say no to it. Number 3, he stopped playing golf and started a new thing. He says it has changed his life, and he took up. Taking up a sport is to start practicing a new one. He started here, take up, and to took up because it is in the past. Okay, let's continue. Then we've spoken about the use of quantity expressions and question words. Quantity expressions, what are quantity expressions? They are words that we will use and everyone is familiar about it. It's not telling you how many exactly. Let me tell you. When I say there are a few students in the classroom, it's not a number, but I know that we don't have enough students. Maybe there are 2, it could be 5, however they are not 100, not a lot. So we're having count and non-count nouns. Count nouns, which I can give a number. Non-count, you can't give a number. For count nouns, we can use many. How many students? How many hours? And for the non-count nouns, I will use much. How much time? How much water? For the count nouns, I can use few or a few. A few students in the class. However, I drink a little water. Not much. And we can use with both of them a lot of, lots of, and we're having as well as no and any. You can use a lot of and lots of with them. Okay. We've discussed the idea of discussing emails and letter format and etiquette. How would you communicate with people? We're having different people. You know different people and your relation with those people is different. So you communicate differently with your friend, or if you want to send a message or tell your mom something or to tell your teacher, or maybe if you work you want to tell your boss. So you're having different relationship between different people. Not all your friends you're going to communicate the same way. Some of them are friends, close friends, others they are classmates. So different ways for communication, whether you will text them, whether you will call them, video call them, or what would you do with different kind of people. And here, how I communicate, who you communicate with, and how to communicate with them, and why would you choose this means of communication. Let's choose someone, and based on that we will answer the other questions. Let's speak about friends. Just remember the last time you communicated with a friend, a classmate or any friend. How did you communicate with him or her? Did you send him or her a message? I will say that I would rather to text them. I will use text messages. Or maybe I will call them by phone. If it's very important and urgent, I will use a phone call. Why will I use text messages and phone calls? Why these means of communication? Because it's easier. Whenever I want to text my friend, I will text her. And also it is faster. If I want to use the phone call, it is fast. I will get the information at the moment. However, if I want to communicate with my teachers, your teachers are not your friends. You're having a different relationship. It is much more like formal. It's not informal. How would you communicate with your teacher? Do you text your teachers or do you call them? Usually, for my teachers, I will email him or I will email her. I will send them email. Why? Because I believe it's much more formal. Our relationship is not like a friend, and also I can attach documents. What do I want to tell my teacher? This is my project, that is my homework, this is my sick leave. So I have to attach a document. I can send it. You can't send it if you are calling him or her. So different people, different ways for communication. And you can also write longer messages. In an email, you can write as much as you can. Then the use of the construction, which is a preposition plus a gerund. What is a preposition? Again, a preposition is like in, to, we're having about, we're having as well as on and at. Many prepositions. You will use after the preposition, we will use gerund. A gerund is a noun that is a verb plus ing. swimming, writing. However, it's a noun, it's not a verb. Let's complete these sentences. My friend looks forward. What do you use after forward? Looks forward to playing football after school. After forward, I look forward to doing. Gerund. My brother is interested in reading science fiction books. After interested, he's interested like in reading. Gerund. Our English teacher decided, when you decide whether you are with or against giving a test tomorrow. I decide against, she said no, about giving a test tomorrow. Mom insists on sleeping early. She's always not with the idea of staying up late. So afterwards, you will use the verb ing after the preposition. How about although, even though, and in spite of? With these, we're having two different ideas. One is positive and the other one is negative. However, they get along together. We can put them all together. Like in here, it was raining. What would happen if it's raining? I would stay home. However, this lady, she went out. Surprisingly, she went out. I would say, although it was raining, she went out. Here's the result clues. We have to separate them with a comma. The same idea. Even though it was raining, she went out. However, in spite of is different. It carries the same meaning with a different order. Let's say, in spite of the rain. Here, it's only a subject. We won't use a verb. In spite of the rain, she went out. So we're having two different ideas, opposing ideas, positive and negative. We will connect them all together. Next is the use of as soon as and when to tell the order of the action. When the movie ends, I will go to bed. So first the movie ends, then going to bed. I feel relaxed when I finish my project. I will feel relaxed when I finish my project. So first finishing, then feeling. As soon as they finish talking, then they go home. As they finish, they will go. They will finish first, then they will go. She get into the bus as soon as it arrives. So she will get into the bus as soon as it arrives. It will arrive first, then she will get into the bus. So it tells you the order of the action 1 and 2 or 2 and 1, and you will get to know the order of the action. How about so that? You will tell me how much and how much the adjective is happening. Like he's sick. How sick? He is so sick that we're having. He is so sick. How sick? That he couldn't go to work. He's so tired that he slept up late. He slept up until 9. So how tired that this thing happened. It is so cold. How cold? That I couldn't feel my hands. It's so hot that I stayed at home. How much the adjective is happening. Then the easy one, which is there is and there are for singular and plural. We can say in here, we're having one click. So there is a click. We're having a group of books. There are books. We're having 2 bookshelves. There are 2 bookshelves. 1 computer. So we will use there is a computer. And we're having 1 board. So we'll say there is a board. For 1 or more than 1. So you will decide whether it's 1, you will use there is, more than 1, 2, 3 until unlimited, you will use there are. How about making wishes and talking about imaginary situations? Not reality, we are making up things. Let me ask you, if you had the choice to go to the past or the present, or the past or the future, where would you choose to go? For me, I would choose to go to the future. and I would see what could happen in the future. What if you had the choice to live wherever you want? You can choose wherever you want. Where would you live? I would choose to live by the sea. How about if you could go to a desert island, no one there, it's only you. What would you take with you? I would take my cell phone with me. I would never leave my cell phone so I can stay in touch with others. Speaking about imaginary situation, conditional type 2, in here, what if you won $1 million? If I won $1 million, I would be rich. If I won $1 million, I would be happy and I would buy my dream car. Notice that I'm using here would, not will, because here I'm having won and it is not win. So, what would you do if you had more time? I don't have enough time. What if you had more time? If I had more time, I would watch more TV. Had, past, would watch. What would you do if you could be the school principal? What would you do? You are a student. What if you were the school principal? If I could be the school principal, I would change some rules, or I would change the rules. How about the idea of using might or could? You can use would, as well as I might travel around the world, or I will use I could. So you're having 3 options, would, might, or might. You can use could. Here, what if someone took your shopping cart by mistake? What would you do? I would say, sorry, that's my cart. Or, I might take another one. Or, I could follow him. Took, would, might, and we're having could. How about here? If you were the school principal, what would you do? Things you would do. If I were the school principal, I might change the start of the school day. I would ask the students for their opinions. I could make the school rules more flexible. So you can choose any one of them as long as it is right. Wishes? How about if you won $1 million? I wish I won. Notice with wish in here, we will use the simple past tense of the verb. I wish I won, because it's not reality. Won in here. How about talking about money, shopping, and habits and prices? Let's try to come up with the word that is different. Material, wool, silk, cheap, and cotton. Which one is not a material? Both of them, all of them. Wool, silk, and cotton are materials. However, cheap is related to price. How about in here? Which one is not a size? Dress, small, size 40, and large. Dress is an item. It is not actually a size. Okay, so you will find the odd or the different word. For your homework, I want you to look into this picture and try to come up with sentences. Just here, look at it. We're having here 2 are trying to pull a cart and the other is trying to help. However, they're not listening. What would you tell? Okay? Okay, I guess that is it for the lesson today. And thank you so much for your time.